I know I'm awesome. What can I tell
Mm.
you? Hello, and welcome back to Let's Chat with Phenomenal Shar. I'm Jeannie, and Shardine, your host, is in the background. Um, we want to start by talking about cultivating self-care. Okay, my concept of self-care is it's a as I said before, loving yourself is a process. Constructing self-care is also a process. You have to practice taking care of the outside so that when you look at the outside, the inside feels good. So self-care is a series of things we do to make us feel good in order for us to share that feel good with someone else. We have positive affirmations that we tell ourselves. I don't do that, but a lot of people need to do that. Okay, anyway, yeah, a lot of people have to talk to themselves. I talk to myself when I have things that bother me, not about how great I am or how not, you know what I mean? I'll talk as if I'm having a conversation with you. And to me, that helps me mentally. So it's a weird dynamic. It also involves accepting yourself for who you are, because when you accept yourself as being imperfect, you'll realize that you can accept somebody else for who they are. It also involves forgiving yourself for things you thought you did wrong back in the day or whenever. It's just a matter of you letting yourself know it's okay. Life is just lifing.
Okay,
Exactly.
wonderful. Thank you, Jeannie. Well, I want to talk about practicing boundaries, which I did talk about in the first segment when I was rolling solo with the first part of this
Right.
show. I think one of the things that we've been hearing a lot about boundaries now, boundaries, um, establishing boundaries, creating boundaries. I don't think I fully understood what that meant until I got to, I want to say over 40. Over
Hmm.
40 was that pivotal time for me. It was that time for me when a lot of things started to come to light, changes in the way I behave towards myself and others. So I believe creating boundaries is knowing when to say no, for example, knowing when to say, you know what? I don't want to hear this. I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to participate. This is not allowed. One of the things that I make sure I establish in relationships now, whether it's with males or female friends, I do not allow certain things. I do the way I'm loving on myself now. I do not allow garbage in. I don't want any garbage. I don't want anything that's toxic. I do not allow people to do certain things to me and I approve of it. So I will nicely, and if I can't say it nicely, I'll just say, no, it's not allowed. You are not allowed to do this. So I have set those boundaries. There are some non-negotiables for me when it comes on to protecting myself, my space, my energy, and I am not gonna back down. I did that before my 40s. And it took me so long to get to that point of creating boundaries. So for me, that's one of my way of loving myself is just to make sure that I practice these. And like I said, I just don't participate. I don't participate in gossip, in garbage, in anything that doesn't serve me well. And anything that doesn't feed into my higher self, not interested. Okay, so Daryl, I think you're on. I think you are talking about celebrating small wins. I hope so.
Celebrating small wins. I think any accomplishment is a huge win, actually. I don't look at things as small wins because even when I lose, I win. That
Mm.
because I believe that sometimes you have to lose to win, and that
Yes.
goes like along with self-love. Like
Mhm.
you know, um, setting boundaries Sometimes love is painful. People don't want to talk about that part of love,
Yeah.
because you might have to set some boundaries that you may lose some people, and that part is painful. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But by losing those people, you become a better person. So that's a loss and a win all in
Yeah.
one, and
Yeah.
that's self-love. So I
Yeah.
don't look at any victory as a small victory. I just don't. I count them all as a blessing.
Yeah. I appreciate y- you know, the idea of no small wins. And as you spoke about that, I was thinking, yeah, how do you measure? How do you measure a win? I mean, a win is
There's
a
no
win.
small wins.
Like
I
people
mean, when
talk
you think
about
about
small
it, like for
blessings.
me, anything is a win. I mean, just like getting through the day at work.
Yeah.
Like some people have trying days at work.
Yeah.
You could look at that as a victory because just
Yeah.
look at the state of our economy, our society right now, with like thousands of people out of work right now who had a job last week. They had a job last week, but now they're out of jobs. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But the thing is, if they're able to still provide for their families while they're out of work, then that's a win.
Yes.
That's looked at as a win.
Yes.
But self-loving yourself is like even in that situation right there. Like fortunately, I don't have to go through that. Because I work for myself. But um, if I was going through something like that, and trying to love myself and love the people around me, it would be very challenging at this point,
Yes.
because I'm allowing outside factors to influence how I feel about myself and influence my world. And I would suggest to everyone, to not allow the outside world influence you how you feel about yourself, because those people dedicated themselves to their jobs. They love their jobs, just like many of you might love your jobs, but is that putting yourself first? Just because you're paying your bills, you're able to provide, you're able to pay your mortgage, and you've been working for a place for 16, 20 years. Next thing you know, in one day, your job is gone, all that is gone. So did they love you as much as you love that job?
All right. Thank you. My darling Claire?
Did we
Um,
lose Claire?
no, am I here?
Yes. Yes, you're here. We're hearing you. You're
Am
here.
I
We're
here?
hearing you clearly. Clearly.
Clearly, I'm here.
Yes.
Um, so I'm going to touch on, really nurturing yourself and putting into practice routines. Because, like anything, we have to be responsible and carve out the time that we're going to do things to be. I mean, we can be kind and gentle with ourselves all day long. But for some people, who are so caught up in busyness and, they have children and husbands and jobs, it's hard to carve out time for yourself as a mom. You know, uh, by the time mom gets everything done, she's so exhausted. All she can think about is laying down. So, for myself personally, I find that just little things. In the morning when you get up to go to the bathroom, and maybe you're washing your face or brushing your teeth, and it's just looking in the mirror and saying, "Hi, I love you." Just, something as simple as that. And make that a routine that you would do every day, tick it off. They say, a routine for 21 days becomes a habit. So then you do it automatically. That is something that I have done for many years. And everyone, I think, is at a different level of, self-care. Some people have never heard of self-love. That's just how it is. So that's the thing.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Daryl.
No, so when something like that happens, I mean, I'm just speaking for me. Like, if someone was nasty to me, and okay, if I'm practicing self love, Okay, if I allow that to fester and go on, am I really loving myself? If I didn't deal with it right then and there. So it's like, okay, some people don't like confrontation. Some people are not confrontational people, but if it's affecting me, that's not self-love to me, for me, so I usually deal with things like up front. And because sometimes
Yeah.
like if I'm laying in bed at night, I'm like, oh man, I should have did this, or this person did this to me, or now I'm sitting in bed ruminating over stuff that I shouldn't be ruminating over. So I try
That
to
is
deal
why
with
I
things
asked her to
as they,
clarify. Yeah. That's why I
huh?
asked her to
Yeah.
that's why I asked Tara to clarify, what she
Yeah,
Yes,
meant.
I try.
exactly.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying she's
No, no,
wrong. I'm
no,
not
I'm
saying
not
she's
No,
saying
right.
that either. I
no,
just
no.
didn't understand the
Yeah.
terminology. Because if you don't know
Yeah,
it's there, you can't fix it.
yeah,
Also, Daryl, the way you deal with things, you have the whereabouts to do what you do, which is great, but not everybody has that. People don't understand. In today's world, people are, we're not taught these things in school. How do you learn them? We don't, we it's up to us to research and to find out that. I'm only speaking from my experience in life. I didn't
exactly.
know, I stored things in my body that caused me to have a tumor. And at the
Mm,
time, I didn't know that it was me that
yeah.
stored things in my body that festered to create a tumor. So, what I'm saying is that when we put things in our body and we're not aware, and if it compounds, just like you keep money in the bank and it compounds it, you can get interest. But if you don't deal with things, it festers and it festers.
Hmm.
And that's where
Exactly.
the dis-ease comes from, that
Yeah.
causes a lot of problems for people.
I've lived that way, in the past. I used to allow things like that to fester in me, like right now, I'm 56, just turned 56 in January. Uh, I didn't have any, I didn't have any major health problems growing up, or, even to this point, until last year, I had a little scare, but it was like, it was something that I wasn't dealing with, to kind of like allow it fester in me, that kept me in a mode where I wasn't taking care of myself properly. I wasn't eating properly. I wasn't doing this properly because I was too busy worrying about what was going on with this. And then and it caused the health problems. But once I dealt with that situation and got it behind me, because that's how I look at things. Things like that, they're better off behind me. In order for them to get behind me, I need to deal with it right now, or in the near future, in the immediate future. It has to be dealt with. It has to be behind me. Um, but my therapist always told me, and you're right, I do uh, sometimes uh, think that everyone is similar to me. She always tells me that, everyone is not like you. Everyone's not like you. Everyone's not like you. Because I think, my life is not, a fabulous life. I've had flaws, I've made mistakes and stuff like that. But I am gonna wear my authenticity on the outside and the inside. What you see is what you get. I don't care. I can walk away from a job. I'm not gonna let nobody hold me to something that I'm not feeling comfortable with. That's just how I love myself over the years. It's been hard, because walking away from things, and but if it's bothering me enough where I'm losing sleep or it's affecting me health wise, then I have to do whatever it takes. And that's the part I want to bring up about the sacrifices that we make for love. What sacrifices are you going to make for love? That a love comes with sacrifice.
Oh, I think we lost Claire. I hope she comes back. I think we lost her. Um,
Oh,
yeah, but I hope she comes back. She brought so much value to this conversation. But because we have, oh, there she is coming back. We thought we lost you. I'll allow her to come back. The thing with, we have a follow-up to this conversation, and I will be inviting some more guests to this conversation as we continue to look at what it means to love self, which I refer to as first love. It should be our first love, but we're all learning that it was not how we came into loving ourselves. We found out later on in our lives. So the follow-up episode of this segment is looking at how self-love influences our relationships. When we think of the relationships we have, Jean being married, Daryl was married, I was married, we focus on how we show up for others. Now we are looking at how we show up for ourselves. But as we close off this segment, Claire, we are just looking at the follow-up, which is really just talking about how self-love influences relationships. How does that look for Jean, for myself, for Daryl if you return, for Claire if you return, and for the other guests that we will have on the second part of the show? How does that impact the way you love others? You know, did loving others teach you how to love yourself more, or loving yourself more taught you how to love others? But all of that we will get when we return for part 2 on this segment we call First Love, Self-Love. Claire,
Okay.
there she is.
There I am. There
I
I
did not
am.
want to close this segment off without seeing you. There you are. There you are. So the follow-up I was saying, Claire, is we're going to talk about how self-love influences the way we love others. Because most of us learned how to love others first. So now we come back, we're going to look at how that influences the way we love others. And I think we'll all have something to say on this.
Charlene, when real talk comes alive, she's got the groove, she's got the style, a phenomenal woman with a radiant smile.
I think that's going to be an interesting part of this show, is just looking at how all of that impacts. Jean will probably give us a little scoop and teach us how to not just love ourselves, but love our partners for, 30 years. I'll be in my 90s if I get to that. But first I have to find the love, right?
It's too late now. By the time you get to that, you're going to be 100.
Oh my God. Don't talk like that, girl. Stop it.
Never too
30 years.
late.
I don't want to
We
be,
will
I don't want to
cancel
be
that.
around 30
I
years
will
from
cancel
now.
that, Jeannie. I will cancel that.
No. Why do you? Okay.
I'm just,
I don't want to be around 30 years from now because I'm going to be 93. No, that's going to be a lot of pain.
to be around me when I'm in my 90s.
No, to be around, I don't want to be
Around?
like, no.
You don't
I'm
know
in,
what kind of
I'm in
90-year-old.
so much pain now. How much more pain am I going to be in? I'm an old woman.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I don't have any plans for that.
I know, like I have an option, right? My dad is 93, so
Yes.
that's something to look forward to, I guess.
Yes. Okay, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Darrell, for returning. We love having you here. Claire, it's so nice to see you, to talk to you, to get your perspective. You are my darling friend. And I love you. I can say that publicly. I love you. Talking about love, I love you.
And
Thank you
recognizing
for
that
having. It's been a delight. Nice, and Jeannie.
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Nice to meet you,
I
Claire.
think our audio is a
Good
little
meeting.
sketchy, but she was saying it's nice to be here and nice to meet you, Jeannie. That's what she said.
Oh, good to meet you too.
We'll see her
Says
again. She'll be
Claire,
regular.
a lot about I've heard a lot about you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it
Was
was
it good stuff?
All good.
nice to meet
All
you,
good.
Daryl.
Yes, just remember that self-love is a process. It's a
Yes.
journey.
Thank
It
you
is
for
a
that
You know,
reminder. Thank you for
yes, it's a
and on
journey.
that note, I will see you all in the next segment.
Cheers, my
Yes.
friend.
Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank
You
you.
too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You as well, Char. Night, night.
Blessed night.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Claire.
Bye.
She's got the style, a phenomenal woman with a radiant smile. From light state moments to the lighter side, let's chat with Char, let the good times ride. Let's chat with phenomenal Char. Real conversation near and far, where the truth shines bright like a morning star. Let's chat with phenomenal Char. The good times ride. Let's chat.